This is Floriana Island. This is Cormorant Point, and we're going to have the opportunity to walk from this land beach to the other side, where this time of the year, Pacific green-sea turtles, they come for nesting. The only ones that nest in this Galapagos archipelago. So this turtle, the reason is right there, climb all the way to that sand dune after spending probably 5-6 hours digging out a whole depression that covers his entire body. She'd make a little hole, 60 eggs one time, go back to the ocean. But the reason it is right there, stuck on the sand, because she barely has energy to enter the ocean and to continue swimming. And can you see those flamingos? They are nesting. Flamingos are considered to be an endemic subspecies for the Galapagos. These flamingos, they made it to this archipelago probably a few thousand years ago. Specifically, there is one kind of crustaceous, which flamingos, as they feed on these crustaceous, they're gonna get the pigmentation, and that is the main reason they're gonna turn into this beautiful pinkish coloration.
It doesn't look like there's a lot of life here, but there's life everywhere. Turtles swimming in the ocean, having just laid eggs. Now we're here watching the flamingos. They flew for us. It's a beautiful place. An excellent pre-breakfast outing.
Galapagos will never start surprising you. This morning we have an amazing opportunity to disembark in a pre-breakfast activity to see flamingos, and we were very successful. We're exploring this beautiful bay now as a post office barrel. This is the second time in 12 years I see flamingos right in this point. They do migrate within the Galapagos archipelago, but not outside the Galapagos boundaries. So these flamingos made it to the Galapagos, and because of these right conditions found in the Galapagos, they establish, and they are hopefully to become Galapagos flamingo in a few thousands of millions of years.
I think it was great. Never seen anything like it. It's amazing.
But honestly, this is so unique. So that's really a privilege to work in the Galapagos as a naturalist guide.
Yes.
Okay, please.
You?
So this is Floriana Island. For the very first time we have flamingos here. So this is really a dream come true. I love this archipelago. Encounters like this makes our profession so unique. This is spectacular. This is overwhelming.
Hi, I'm Jo Grayson, and I'm from Martinsville, Virginia. This is my husband Don in the back.
Hi.
Oh, wow. It was an amazing find to find 17, did we count? 18 flamingos?
Being able to float in a kayak and get within 10 to 15 feet of a flock of flamingos and not have them blink an eye, it made me blink an eye. It was quite remarkable, quite remarkable. It's like being on National Geographic.
We have the opportunity to see this beautiful brackish lagoon formation where we have Galapagos flamingos. Galapagos is known as a living laboratory, and what an opportunity to have this amazing chance to come and see two species of flamingos coexisting and using the same habitat. A greater flamingo that probably came thousands of years ago to this archipelago, and they are so well adapted to live in this environment. Years ago, we have the presence of Chilean flamingos, and it seems that they are coexisting and they are living in situ, and we have the opportunity to see a few babies. Probably one of them will be the firstborn in the Galapagos from this new species of flamingos in the archipelago.
Oh, well, I love flamingos. You know, you always see them in the zoo and stuff, but just to be able to see a wild one and to get good pictures of them, so like right there, is really special.
Woke up quite early, jumped in the Zodiacs, headed across to a beach where we did a wet landing.
Well, photographers get really excited about good light, and that's what we have going on right here. We've got nesting blue-footed boobies, beautiful morning light, we're up early, we're out for sunrise, and it's just a really exciting time of day to be shooting our subjects, beautiful backgrounds, it's phenomenal.
We were walked a very short distance into a brackish lagoon. At the lagoon, lucky enough to find some American flamingos, a group very close to us and a group in the distance nesting. Beautiful experience, the light was incredible, perfect for early morning photography and particularly good for photographing birds.
The light just softened slightly, which is really nice.
I think the most incredible thing here has been the attention to photographers, the time of day in which you need to photograph, and special groups assigned with particularly talented experts able to guide you and take the necessary time to find the right photograph.
Squeal. Well done.
Way back.
So today in Floriana we are enjoying a beautiful afternoon with kayaking and paddleboarding. This is a really perfect place to do these activities as the landscape is amazing. We can explore the mangrove area, and usually here we have a lot of sea lions and green sea turtles. Today was very special because we found a big group of flamingos. And flamingos are not really abundant in the Galapagos, so we are really happy when we have the chance to see them on lagoons. And it's not very common to find them in beaches like today, but today on the area of the Baroness Mirador, we saw this group of about 5 flamingos.
I never knew that flamingos flew. I thought they were just wading birds in the water. And even more amazing and spectacular was when they did fly, they had black feathers that you don't see when they're just wading in the pond. And it was fantastic. I was just breathless to see them. They were so graceful.
So it's been a great day, and this is a really nice way of ending our day with kayaking and paddleboarding in Floriana with some flamingos and turtles and sea lions joining us.
These are the greater flamingos, and today we're very lucky that we get to see how they feed. These are brackish water lagoons. We have thousands of lagoons in the Galapagos, but they're salt water. They sustain on life. Only about 40 ponds or brackish water lagoons will have life, and this is what they search for. So what they do, they actually has the upper jaw and the lower jaw, of course the bills, and when it turns back down, the tongue actually presses against this in a fractions of a second, squirts the water out, but whatever remains on these baleen-like traps, and the tongue also brings it down all through the neck. So this is happening, as you can see, in fractions of a second. Right? So this is how the flamingos will feed. They love to follow the taste, we believe, of the brine shrimp, some kind of like brine shrimp. We call it artemia. It's a small crustaceous like a shrimp. And so this shrimp eats this algae that has this pink pigmentation. It gets to them, and then when the flamingo eats it, they also get this pink pigmentation. That's what you see the feathers. So all flamingos are born with white feathers, but just because of its diet, you get to see this as a pink flamingo.
Really?
Good morning, everyone. This morning you've made the effort to come to a pre-breakfast outing to visit Punta Cormorant. Oh wow, look at this. Now, it's really striking to think that there are flamingos in the Galapagos Islands. The name of the species here is the greater flamingo. The latest census shows that there are probably no more than 500 flamingos in the entire archipelago. Now, these waters where the flamingos are is not fresh water, it's what we call brackish water. It's a mix of ocean water and rainwater. These brackish waters contain minute crustaceans like a tiny shrimp that has high contents of a carotenoid pigment in its exoskeleton or the shell. So that's the pigment that is incorporated in the plumage of the flamingos.
The moral to the story is if your naturalist says get up at 6 o'clock, you get up at 6 o'clock. It was just spectacular. They wouldn't have been there an hour later. So it was wonderful.
You are really lucky. You don't know how lucky you are, really.
So what we're seeing here is a brackish pond, which is actually, it means variable salinity.
I've seen them in the Camargue in southern France many moons ago.
They arrived here and they were able to sustain a small population. As they're feeding, they're actually upturning the silt, which is upturning the crustaceans. It's using its tongue as a piston and basically filtering out these crustaceans out of this silty brackish water.
Yes, they were really, really special. I got some amazing photos. Yeah, it was lovely to see them. Colours are brilliant.
Nice and early in the morning, and we're at Punta Cormorant on Floriana Island. We're this beautiful view spot where you can see flamingos hanging out in this massive brackish water lagoon. This is the last place you should be expecting to find flamingos. They've been living here for thousands of years. They're a small satellite population that was probably generated by a small group of flamingos that got blown off course by a hurricane or something like that in the Caribbean and ended up all the way out here. Flamingos get their color from what they eat, right? And that is a shrimp-like animal. It's a crustacean. Has anybody ever asked themselves where does the crustacean get the color from? It's kind of the next question you should ask, right? For most of the year here in the Galapagos, there's barely any rain, so there's much more water evaporates than it is put in here by rain, so that the water becomes hypersaline. And that is the perfect environment for the growth of these brine algae, which tends to be this red algae that the mud here is saturated with. You see all the mud around here looks very, very red. That is the food source for this little crustacean that the flamingos feed on. Large amounts of protein that are produced by that algae are passed on to the flamingo via the little shrimp, which explains well how flamingos are able to survive eating something that is almost microscopic. But the actual quality of their food, you would say, is exceptional.
I think everything that we have seen thus far is really a miracle, and just learning more about the species on the islands just kind of confirms that.
Brackish water lagoons are complete ecosystems with a lot of food supply for lagoon birds like greater flamingos. The main food supply is going to be the Artemia, which is a planktonic shrimp, planktonic crustacean found in every brackish water lagoon.
There's water coming off of his beak. Is he filtering, or is that just splash?
It filters. Flamingos filter water into their beaks. They push it out with their tongues, and all what remains in the beak is the food supply. Well, is something similar to baleen in whales. Yeah. Something similar to that. That's very interesting. One single flamingo, one individual, is going to need a large amount of food. They could spend hours per day just feeding. If you could get together every single individual from the entire archipelago, all you're going to get is around 450 individuals. That's it. Not any more than that. Not even 500. This is one of the lowest populations of the planet. That's the reason why it's so special to see flamingos here.